Okay, so this is my Titan Season 4, Episode 10 review. And as fun as this was, there were a couple of things that one thing that frustrated me. But I'm so glad that they didn't keep us guessing with Connor. So it starts basically where the last episode left off. Gar wakes up in a bed. And he has, of course, no idea where he is, which, why would he? I mean, he just passed out after the red dropped him off the last time. And he gets up and he's walking on hay. Okay, so I thought, well, maybe the last time he was on this bed, he took the form of a horse or something, because this is the Doom Patrol after all. And I was kind of unhappy that neither Rita nor Crazy Jane were a part of this, because if nothing else, Crazy Jane meeting Corey would have been hella interesting. That would have been so interesting. Especially if it was what's that persona that is the protector? Can't think of the name right now. And Hammerhead, or yeah, that would have been super fun, because never once did Corey use her powers. Nobody said she couldn't use them, but she never even attempted. So Gar comes out, and the first person he sees is Cliff. And he's happy to see Cliff. He doesn't even think for a second, wait a minute, why, when I asked to go to my family, I ended up with the Doom Patrol. He's just thrilled to see Cliff, and then Larry, and of course he and Vic don't seem to like each other that much. And Cliff even said, I believe it was Cliff, who said that there's a 50-50 chance you're going to kill each other. And so this is a different clip, but like I've mentioned in, I think, a previous video, I've only seen the first season. So this new clip where he says things like there's a 50-50 chance you guys are going to kill each other is not the dumbass that was the first season. Because that Cliff was not very bright. So anyway, so these are the only four. We don't see Niles, which, considering what Beast Boy learned in the last episode, I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't see Niles. Because it would have been fun to have that confrontation, but considering all that was going on, I guess it's for the best. So Gar is like, okay, why is all this vegetation growing? What's happening? And Vic's like, yeah, we were wondering the same thing. And he doesn't seem to blink an eye when they tell him that he was asleep for 3 days. That, like, it was the most normal thing in the world. I mean, I realize this is Doom Patrol, but come on. So Vic, basically never misses a moment to tell Gar that this is all his fault. So they can't leave the mansion. But that they claim that this isn't actually Doom Manor, that this is not their home, and they can't leave. So they are trying to figure out what to do. And in the meantime, back in, I guess, reality, the Titans are trying to figure out what's happening, and they see. Now, let me back up. They see Sebastian with Connor, and Connor giving a press conference. Now, Sebastian ended up with Connor because Connor gave him a business offer because he could see the programming code that Sebastian had. Because at heart, he still wants to become a video game programmer, which makes what he does later really bizarre. I mean, incredibly bizarre. So anyway, so Connor leaves, and Mother Mayhem decides that, and Connor gives basically the same speech as Rachel did about how May doesn't care about you. She just, wants to use you to get what she wants, and then she's gonna toss you aside, and which is of course what she wants is Trigon. And which I never understand these people. Both her and Angela, they're like, oh yes, he's going to eat the world. You're part of it. What do you think is going to happen to you? Anyway, so he meets with Mother Mayhem, and she goes off on him for being late, and he's like, okay, we're going to get Trigon and blah, 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 and I don't have time to get a cup of coffee? And, so she berates him. And because, Sebastian 100% responds well when he's berated. Nothing bad could ever happen, especially now that he has powers. What could possibly go wrong? So she's berating him, and she's like, without Trigon, you're nothing. And he's like, what are you talking about? I have power. And she's continuing to berate him, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Seriously. And I was starting to think that this was some sort of dream of either hers or him. That this just seemed so out of place. But no, it was real. And he ends up killing her. Which I didn't think from the very beginning that she was permadead. I mean, Jinx herself, who apparently isn't as powerful as Mother Mayhem, she can come back. She's come back to life multiple times. So, yeah. Didn't for 1 minute think that Mother Mayhem was permadead. And so he goes back and agrees to join Connor. And so Connor's at this press conference, and the Titans are watching it. So they're bemoaning the fact that Connor and Sebastian are in league with each other. And I'm just like, you sure about that? Really? Connor is smarter than that. Even when he wasn't going full on Lex Luthor, he was still fucking smarter than that. But anyway, so they want, and this is where I got frustrated, because they're talking about confronting Connor and Sebastian at LexCorp. Okay, fine. And then it cuts away, and Rachel is freaking out that they're going to lock her up because of her connection with Sebastian, which she's claiming that was just in that weird realm, that's not going to happen in the real world. And obviously they cut out a scene where that was even suggested, because we go from them watching and talking about confronting Connor and Sebastian to Rachel having a temper tantrum. So, yeah, I did not appreciate that cut, especially since this is streaming. I could understand cutting for time if it's on regular TV and they have to have so many minutes of commercials. As annoying as it is, that's understandable. What is your excuse here? I mean, okay, so it would be a full hour instead of like 51 minutes or whatever it was. Fine. I don't see the problem. But anyway, so she's trying to convince them to let her go. And Dick decides he's got to make a phone call. And Corey decides that she needs to do something. So she walks off. Now, as this is happening, well, let me finish this part first. So, Corey walks, and you see these doors, like the doors that lead into the Doom Manor, which she goes into, and voila, she's in Doom Manor. And I'm surprised that I guess she was just so frustrated that she didn't even notice that the doors look completely different. And, she walks through them. And she's in Doom Manor, and Vic is about to, confront her. Actually, it didn't seem like he was going to get violent. I mean, he was getting prepared because he didn't know who she was, but he was going to ask her who she is, and she just sucker punches him. Poor Vic. So they then have to figure out how she's like, how did I get here? Oh, the red must have brought you here, and we can't get out. It's like, okay, why didn't nobody check the door? Okay, they said that nobody can leave, but did ya check? You just walked through. Why are you taking everyone's word for it? So yeah. And while this is going on, Connor is helping Sebastian create a video game, which is, I guess, called Abraxas. And so Connor leaves him alone because Sebastian's like, this is a lot to take in. I need a little time to myself. Which, why didn't he just go to his office, which we found out later he has. But anyway, so Connor gives him some alone time. And while he's doing that, he decides to create a spell. Now, he said that he wanted to create a game that would bring people together. Okay, great. That sounds like a noble goal, but why create a spell then? At first I thought that the spell was, just to make it popular. But no, it was much more nefarious than that. And so the game is released, but funnily enough, it seemed like when Gar reconnected the arcade game, Abraxas came up for a brief moment, but before Gar could play the game, it poofed. So were they somehow in the future or something? I mean, how did they get Abraxas before the launch of the game? Or maybe it was supposed to be simultaneous. But yeah, that was a bit weird. And I guess the red was protecting Gar from playing this game because, because of what Brother Blood did, what Sebastian did. But anyway, so the game comes out and it seems to be um, being it turns into an extremely popular game. And Connor, while Sebastian is contemplating it before they even release the game, sneaks into his office and tries to destroy the horn. And no success. He couldn't lift it. He couldn't destroy it with his heat vision. And then when he heard Sebastian, he sucks in the fumes so Sebastian won't notice that he was trying to destroy the horn. And he's sitting there reading a magazine. And it's like, yeah, this is the only place I can get anything done without people bothering me. Which, okay, if nobody knows where the boss is, that makes sense. So, yeah, I guess it's not completely completely concerning that he's in another employee's office, but whatever. And so after the launch, Sebastian informs Connor what he did, and you could see in Connor's face, he's like, shit. So he makes him sit down, and Connor's just destroying furniture, destroying the chair, as he's listening to what Sebastian did with this game. Now, in the meantime, while he's discussing this and basically telling Connor his diabolical plan, which again, I don't understand why he did that. Why make this game something that connects everyone to him and he is basically sucking on everyone's life force? I mean, what was the point of that? But I guess because he's corrupted because of his power, I guess. I don't know. So while that's happening, Rachel and Dick, the person Dick called was someone who I guess knows black magic, or at least knows of black magic. And he's showing Rachel, and she's like, no, this is dark magic. This is darker than me. And he's like, your choice. So she agrees, and they meet up with this black magic practitioner. And can I just say, rest in peace to the black magic practitioner who sacrificed herself for this. So they have this spell, and the knife blade will only come out when Dick's faith is at its peak. So, of course, it took a while, but so they do the spell, and it's so weird that she had to tell him like 2-3 times to be more forceful in his command. I mean, come on, you're Nightwing. you spend your whole life practically your whole life with Batman. What's with this timid shit? So, then it's Dick versus the evil. And Dick is not faring well at all. It's while he's chasing her. But once she returns back to Rachel, that's when Dick is able to get an actual blade and kill the creature. I was kind of hoping that it would be some sort of situation where he only killed the evil, but not the woman who was a black magic practitioner, because somehow she was protected or something. But no, it seems like she's gone too. So, yeah, that sucks. I kind of liked her. So, that's taken care of. So, everyone, so they go back to, um, before they go back to the base, to, well, Star Labs, um, like I said, the game has been released and it's a hit and people are playing it. They're going on TikTok or whatever that universe's version of TikTok is and telling their friends that this is like mind crack and this, it's a simple game but it's so addictive. And even Bernard, he sees the game because they give him the game and he starts playing it. I guess he just wanted to see what happens. Unfortunately, apparently, when the game ends, you end up in a coma because Tim finds him laying there, and on his phone it says game over. So, yeah. And of course, Tim is distraught. And this is the time when Dick and Rachel reappear, and Corey and Gar reappear because while they were in Doom Manor, they were goofing off until they found a back room. And Vic was hilarious before they found the back room. Oh, what does this book say? And Vic is like, yeah, it says this is all your fault. So they keep going. And they go to the back room. And then we have Indiana Jones or Star Wars situation where the walls are closing in. And so they're trying to figure out how to keep the walls open. By this time there's only two people trying to keep the walls from closing in, which is Corey and Cliff. Now Cliff I could see because he's a robot man. In theory he should be strong enough. However, Corey, sweetie, I believe you still have your powers. I mean, Gar has his. He used them to help Vic. Why aren't you burning a wall? why aren't you helping out at all? Because yeah, you're strong, but yeah, okay. So, Vic and Gar are having some sort of discussion about a trilogy of movies, which I'm not sure. I've never heard of these movies, so I'm assuming that they're made up for this universe. And so he tells Vic what to do, and Larry, well, he's out for the count because he released the negative spirit. And so Gar's like, shoot at the negative spirit. It's like, I can't see him. Can you normally see him? I mean, you're a cyborg. How can you not see him? But anyway, Gar's like, I'll point him out to you. And I'll spot him for you. So he turns into, I guess, a bird. Flies up there, and Vic's like, oh, there you are. And he's like, but I don't want to hit you. The guy who was perfectly fine with killing him not that long ago with the arm cannon didn't want to kill him now. It's like he's a hummingbird. I think he's going to get out of the way fast. So he shoots at something. And that's what got them back to Star Labs. And I assume that the other three ended up in the real Doom Manor. So, like I said, there was no Crazy Jane, there was no Rita. So I don't know if they were off somewhere and weren't a part of this, or if they're changing things for this universe. I don't know. And so everybody's happy to be back together. And Tim has figured out what is causing all this. It's the game. And so he decides that he's got to break into LexCorp. But as he's about to break in, he's like afraid of breaking the law. And for some reason, he's looking to Corey for permission. And I'm like, why? Why Corey? I guess because she's the adult, which makes his relationship with Bernard really uncomfortable if that's the case. So she's like, break the law. And he tries to get in, and Connor mentions that there's a security breach, but he can't pinpoint it. And I got the feeling that was because he didn't want Sebastian to know that was the Titans. Because he's obviously on the Titans' side. We know this now. And so they block it. And with his magic, he blocks it. And Tim's like, I wish there was a back door. And Corey and Gar are like, back door. We just had one. We just dealt with that. So he tries a back door. And Connor, at this point, is holding an apple. Which, how he got that apple was weird. It just flew from somewhere into the office and into Connor's hand. And he takes the Sebastian's mind being focused on the game to go and let them in so they could stop Sebastian. And of course he used a super speed, and he was back before Sebastian knew that he did anything. So, not only did he discover that his game was gone, that his whole plan was gone, he noticed that he no longer has his connection to Rachel. And but he said he doesn't have his magic. Now, does that mean he was pulling most of his powers, most of his abilities from Rachel? Because why would his power be gone? Unless they're just using this as a MacGuffin, as an excuse to use the MacGuffin, which is the horn of Trigon, for him to actually blow the horn. Because I see no reason why he would lose his power. So he's bemoaning all of that, and Dick was looking at the exit logs at LexCorp, and I'm okay. And he's like, you didn't go through a back door. You did not, someone let you in. You didn't hack anything. And it's like, I think the new CEO of LexCorp is on our side. So, yay, they know that Connor's on their side, that he's still a good guy. I'm glad that he's still a good guy, because I still want, not necessarily the old Connor, but some sort of amalgamation, because this Connor's a dick. And I guess they're trying to make him to be like the 90s Connor Kent, which was a legit dick. So, but anyway. So then Tim is over Bernard, who has an oxygen mask on him, and is still, I guess, in a coma. Now, this episode had everything to do with love. Corey mentioned that she wants to kill Sebastian not because she hates him, but because he wants to destroy everything she loves. And Dick was able to defeat the inner darkness inside Rachel because he loves Rachel. So I thought that, especially with Rachel standing there, that Bernard would wake up. Either that Rachel would use her magic because, hello, you're a strong magic user, Raven, bring him back, or that there would be some sort of a power of love thing. Not necessarily the fairy tale kiss, but that Tim's love would bring Bernard back. But no, it ended with Bernard still being in a coma and Tim being upset about it. So that was the third frustration. It's like, why? You already used the power of love twice. Why not a third time? At this point, it's not going to be any weirder than any of the other shit that Doom Patrol is even part of. But anyway, that's how it ended, and I'm finally caught up with Titans. So I have absolutely no idea what's happening next week, other than Mercy seems to have a way of how to defeat them. Oh yes, we found out that Mother Mayhem is indeed still alive. She was in a body bag, which, considering what Sebastian did, I'm surprised that there was enough of her left for a body bag, but anyway, so she's in a morgue and she busts out of the body bag. Because that's how morgues work. But anyway, that's how it ends. And so Mother Mayhem now Sebastian is still getting these thoughts in his head about what Mother Mayhem said to him, even when he still had his magic. He was still having her telling him that he's useless, and now he's having that again. While she's waking up, it's like, they just want him to use the Horn of Trigon to bring him back. Ugh. Okay. So we're bookending Titans because this is Titans' last season. They were canceled. So we're bookending things. Well, actually, no. Sort of. Because season 2 started with the death of Trigon. But the whole first season was kind of, sort of, about Trigon. So yeah, they're going to have to defeat Trigon again. Somehow Mother Mayhem is going to convince Sebastian to use the horn. Because probably whatever Mercy has is going to make things worse. At least for the Titans. Possibly for also Connor. Because, she already showed that she's willing to torture Connor and Gar. So. But, so now it's a matter of, we have 3 people now who seem to have the focus. Rachel? For defeating Trigon, that is. Rachel, Corey, and, now Gar. So, who knows? I still think it's going to be Rachel to defeat him, or maybe it's going to take all 3. But Rachel has to be a part of it because, it's her dad. And that's her destiny, is to defeat her dad. So, of what little I know of the comics. So, that, I think I've covered everything. I know that I skipped over things and had to go back because I thought I had everything. I thought I had everything put together in my head, and then I found out I didn't. But anyway, enough rambling. That's all I have for this episode, and I will see you guys next time.